I know that Stalker 2 has been out for almost a month now, but I wanted to take my time with this game and really digest everything that this game had to offer and that I wanted to experience, because I've been really excited for this game since about 2021 when they first announced it at an Xbox showcase. And what I can say about Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl after putting 35 hours into this game is that it is one of the most refreshing video games I have played all year. So today we're going to be going over the pros and cons of Stalker 2, starting with the cons of the game. The first main issue with this game is the poor optimization with frame rates that dip horribly in so many sections of the game, in combat sections and even just in exploration sections where I'm walking around. If you walk into a building versus if you're just walking in a general field, your frame rates will dip. You will notice it, you will witness it. It is extremely annoying how sometimes I could be running at a solid 50 to 60 and I'm running on a 40-70 and then it hits down to like a 20 frames per second for like 3 seconds straight. It's unbelievably annoying. Stalker 2 is also a very buggy game, but honestly, considering to what other reviews and just the general consensus around the game has said, it's not as buggy as you thought it to be. And they have released a few patches since the release of the game, and I'm understanding that the reviewers who did play the game before the game actually did get the day one patch probably had a way more buggy experience, but the game is not as buggy as a lot of people have made it out to be. The inventory management can be extremely frustrating with the combination of the over-encumbered system. With the second you hit 50 kilograms, you start slow walking, and then once you hit 80, you start really slow walking, and your stamina is just so fucking annoying to keep up if you're like consuming energy drinks, and then you have to eat food to keep that energy drink shit down. It's just a very annoying system. Like, it's not horrible, and I do put it in the cons section because it's something that just makes the game that much less fun. And I do understand that this game is supposed to be a realistic shooter, but sometimes, like, too much realism, especially in inventory systems, can get so annoying. Now, this was a bigger issue at launch, but I feel like it still needs to be lowered a little bit. The prices for upgrading armors and weapons are extremely high. I don't care how far you are into the game, unless you're literally picking up every little piece of ammo and weapon to sell to vendors, which you can't really do because, again, the inventory system and the amount of carry weight that you have is extremely small. It is such a struggle to actually upgrade armor and weapons in this game. You'd have more luck just finding already upgraded weapons. I did actually play this game in English and Ukrainian voice acting. I was a bigger fan of the Ukrainian voice acting than the English voice actors, so that is a criticism I do have. The English voice acting could need some work. I don't know if these voice actors are like seasoned in the industry or anything. They did a serviceable job, especially the English voice actor, but for example, I did enjoy Skiff's Ukrainian voice actor much more than the English voice actor. With a good RPG, with a lot of choices, you of course need good writing, and this game does offer that, but a lot of it can be really inconsistent, and some of it can be really good, but then at other times it's just boring and I'm just skipping through some of the dialogue sections because I cannot be fucking bothered to listen to the poor writing that they've handed me here. Some of it, really damn good. A lot of it, really damn bad. Some of the boss-like enemies, especially the actual animals and like the anomaliac animals that you can find out, like the really big fuckers, are sometimes just way too spongy. Even on lower difficulties, they're just spongy and they don't really offer any actual sort of like difficulty other than shoot them, run, repeat, heal every once in a while because sometimes they'll jump in the air and you can't actually dodge their slam to the ground move. They'll just knock you on your ass. It's just something I feel like they should have worked on a bit more, adding more variety to how you're actually supposed to be fighting these bigger enemies instead of shoot them in the head, run away, shoot them in the head, run away, because the second they get close to you, they're just gonna bitch slap you to the ground. And also, considering from what we have seen from the original trailers of the game being released back in 2021 and 2022, I do believe there's been a graphics downgrade here. Kind of disappointing because I am on a higher end PC, I kind of expected better graphics. Not to say that the game looks bad, I just feel like there has been a downgrade. The facial animations, mocap, and cutscenes can be very good sometimes, but a lot of the times as well they can be extremely inconsistent. There was one cutscene where I don't even think they actually mocapped the character for facial animations, they just mocapped him for like his body. Looked really good on his body, but then you'd watch his face and his eyes would just be blank staring forward, and it was just kind of weird.
And smelt so, huh? And who's to say that clay won't end up a stopper for a rusty rain barrel? Just to think.
And then after those really poorly done cutscenes, which are mocapped by the way, because it's in the same area of the character actually like moving very well. Again, the motion capture for the characters in those well done cutscenes or like the rendered cutscenes are extremely well done. It's just the facial animations that are extremely inconsistent.
We need someone we can trust to get those fucking hoops spinning. And we both know the representative isn't an option.
But my father...
Your father's dead! He's gone! I saw them boiling in those pods with my own eyes. Goddamn Visiograph is just a fucking talking TV set!
Mainly after the second half of the game as well, the main quest starts to feel just really repetitive, as you will go to talk with a character, and then he'll send you on a quest to go talk with another character 2 kilometers away. And then that character will send you to an area where you have to kill 6 enemies, and then you have to go to another area 4 kilometers away as the person over the radio tells you what to do next. It's extremely repetitive on the second half of the game, and it gets really boring and annoying, especially when all I want to do is kill shit with all my awesome gear that I've been finding. One extremely, and I mean extremely fucking annoying part of the game was an instant kill zone that I kept having that blocked off an area of a main quest, and I'm gonna leave this as a con because there was so many better ways they could have pulled this off. They could have literally just walled off the area or even said to me over the radio, don't go that way, you know? The one-shot killing is really stupid because the barrier is even worse. You can't even go near the area that you're not supposed to be going near. So, like, there was this area that's walled off, right? If I go near that wall, even if I don't even go into the entrance, I go near the wall, I get one-shot killed. It was unbelievably annoying. And if you've gotten up to this section in the game, you know exactly where I'm talking about. And if you haven't, you will instantly recognize it the second you start getting near that area. Unbelievably fucking annoying. It definitely needs to be patched out because there's no, like, it just feels like, you know, maybe I can somehow kill this sniper as well that's been one-shotting me. Maybe it's a story thing, I'm supposed to kill this sniper before entering this area. There's no indication whatsoever that I'm supposed to not go in that way other than, look, you get one-shot killed. There needs to be, like, some guy tells you over radio, don't go in that direction. I just feel like it's a really stupid way to halt progression in that area. My final con for this game is that loading up the game initially is so fucking slow, especially on PC. Dude, I don't know how many shaders they have to compile, but sometimes it lasts up to 3 to 4 minutes just to load up the game into the main menu. Now, the loading screens themselves, once you actually hit continue or new game, they're not that bad. They're like 20 seconds. It's not that bad. When you die and respawn, it's like 10-15 seconds. It's actually pretty well optimized. 3-4 minutes to compile shaders is unacceptable. I don't know why it takes that long. I know the game is huge in scope and has a lot of like high-end graphics, but I really feel like it shouldn't take that long and that it's just an optimization issue. Like GSC, please. The number one thing they need to work on is the shader compiling on PC. It's so slow. I know that hearing out all my cons with the game, you might think, oh, maybe he doesn't like this game, maybe he hates this game. Quite the contrary, I've heavily enjoyed this game. Like I said, even though I do have a lot of cons with the game and a lot of inconsistencies I'm not a fan of in this game, but the game does still have a ton of things it gets extremely right. Even with an apparent downgrade of the graphics compared to the trailers that we saw a few years ago, the game is still gorgeous in every single way. Every environment that you find, the atmosphere of the game itself is beautiful. I'm going to be showing you a cutscene, probably one of my favorite cutscenes in the game just for how dark it was and how atmospheric it was. It was a really good cutscene.
Jesus.
In Stalker 2, there are plenty of environments to explore and things to discover with tons, and I really mean tons of side quests and objectives and logs to pick up and read that really flushes out the story and the lore of everyone and everything in the world of Stalker 2. Insane how much dialogue there is to go through, how many logs you can read, everything in the world. There is something everywhere. In every single fucking building, I feel like there's something that you can read or someone you can talk to. It is extremely well done. There is something everywhere. And the loot is also extremely plentiful, even if it's on the lower end side, with tons of stashes to find and equipment to find in order to sell, repair, or restore, so you're able to get better gear as you actually progress through the game. It's one of the best parts I think that Stalker 2 really emphasizes. You can tell that you've progressed in this game. You can tell from when you first started to when you end the game. You can tell that your Stalker is more powerful with anomaly powers that he equips to his suit with upgraded suits, with better guns. You can tell that you've progressed in the game very easily. The gameplay loop is extremely well done with finding equipment to restore it or to use it yourself, or selling it even to vendors, is something that they did right. It's fun to play survival in this game, to eat food, to drink water. I do kind of like those mechanics, even if I find it kind of annoying when you drink energy drinks, you know, it brings up your food you kind of need, right? You have to sleep sometimes, even though I don't really think it's much of a requirement as it needs to be. I probably only had to sleep in the game about 3 times when it actually did tick, like, look, you should probably sleep, you know, and Skiff will, like, you know, start shutting his eyes. I don't know if it really affects, like, your speed or gameplay or anything, as I was still able to fight mutants while getting tired, but, you know, chugging back some energy drinks also works. Modern RPGs seem to struggle with this, but Stalker 2 actually offers actual choice that can affect endings and other characters and their environment. There is actual choice in this video game with real playability, with about 3 to 4 endings to my understanding after looking at the achievements in this game. Stalker 2 is awesome with its choice and what it provides you. GSC did a good job on that front. I applaud them for that, because a lot of other AAA modern developers can't get that right when they're making a game where choices should be the first goal. You can be really nice if you want to, you can be an asshole if you want to, you could just slaughter everyone if you want to. You are able to kill the majority of NPCs in this game outside of, depending on what path you choose, right? So if you choose a set path with, say, the ward, you probably can't kill anyone from the ward, but if you choose a path with, say, people from any of the other factions, you probably won't be able to kill them as well. The music is something that a lot of developers need to get right, and I'm happy to report that GSC has gotten it right here. Music in and out of combat and in the cutscenes are extremely well done. Like, I really feel like the music you just listen to while in ambience, while in walking around, could rival the Fallout games, you know, just walking around with that background music that plays in your headphones. You're kind of just chilling. That is here. Even though every step you take could be your last, it's still kind of a chill game in that way with its music and background areas. Every single gun, I mean every single one, in this game feels good to use and actually has a reason to be in the game. There's no gun that's like really shit. You can modify weapons to make them better. Guns can have grenade launcher modifications onto them. The actual amount of customization with these weapons, either if you're buying a scope from a vendor or if you're going to the actual person who repairs your guns and adding little trinkets like more like fire speed, or, you know, it's easier to use the recoil on a gun. The gun upgrade system and the guns, every single one of them matters. You can turn a revolver into a one-shot death cannon, which is what I did for the majority of my playthrough before finding the Gauss gun, which I'll get into in a bit. You can also find your new favorite gun at literally any time. Like, you could just pick up a gun off of a dead enemy and boom, that's your new gun. Go repair it, go restore it, boom. There was one mission, for example, in the early part of the game where this guy was standing and he's like, yo, dude, I dropped my gun in this radioactive water. Can you go get it? I was like, yeah, sure. I looked at it. It needed to be repaired. It was that 0 durability, but it was like a really good assault rifle, had a grenade launcher attachment to it. So I was like, fuck you, dude, this is my gun now. He was, of course, not very happy with it, but I got this badass new gun. I could repair it, and boom, I just had like a pretty decent starter weapon. With the amount of awesome guns that are in this game, there is also tons of different type of armors that you can find. You can either have full body suits, or you can mix it up with like a different helmet and bodysuit. There's like exoskeletons you can find, which do increase your carry weight, and I usually found these at the end of the game, but you can only walk in them, right? So, you know, you could carry a lot more stuff and you're a lot more armored, but you can't exactly sprint and move quickly in them. So there's that trade-off, which I do enjoy, as it adds more variety and gameplay and just game styles to Stalker 2, right? You could have a character where you want to be the super fast secret ninja, and then another character where you want to be the super bulky, I can carry as much shit as possible with a fucking machine gun and just this death cannon, you know, want to murder everyone in my sight. There is also another system that you can have with a bunch of different types of scanners that you can use to find anomalies in areas, so you're able to pick them up and upgrade them to your suit. You could also find these on actual enemies in the game, or just literally anywhere. You can obtain them in quests. You can equip them to your armor and it'll give you little bonuses to like radiation or physical damage or side damage, little ways just to upgrade your armor. And I definitely recommend doing these, because I actually didn't even know this was a thing about until like halfway into the game, when I realized, oh look, I can equip different scanners, and I was trying it out and it was actually pretty interesting. At the end of my game, I had 4 anomaly powers into my suit that offered extra protection to my armor, just to make the game a lot easier, especially in the end game, because in the end game there is tons of combat, and mainly in one of the final 2 missions. The combat in this game, specifically with human enemies, is extremely well done, especially in the boss fights. You need to be tactical in this game. You cannot go guns blazing, even though I've tried before. You cannot go full Rambo Call of Duty. You have to be tactical, you have to take cover, you have to manage your health, you have to manage your stamina, you have to make sure you're managing your ammo as well. There's different types of ammo as well, with like armor piercing or normal bullets, depending on if an enemy decides to take 9 fucking headshots, or if you wanted to one-shot them with a sniper. You need to be tactical in this game. So if you do not like that, I would definitely maybe take a step back if you want to play this game. That is something that I know a lot of people will change their mind on. My last pro to the game is the Gauss gun. And no, I'm not even kidding. Just watch this.
Moving to cover, brother.
Like, the sounds and the animations and the charge up for the Gauss gun alone make it a pro. The most unfortunate part about this gun is that I found it in late game, so you're most likely going to find it in the late game as well. But if you can find this earlier on in the game, just know it's going to be expensive as fuck to maintain. The game has soul, and I understand that Stalker 2 launched with a lot of bugs and glitches, but I see where they were going with this game. In the end of this game, when it releases more DLC and more patches and more map expansions or story expansions, I can see it hitting a 9 or a 10 out of 10 game. Right now, it's not that, definitely. I would not call it a 9 or a 10. It is a very good game, and I can see where GSC was going with this. They created a great RPG first-person shooter here, and I just extremely enjoyed that. It was one of the most refreshing games I think I've played this year. Something completely different from the rest of the first-person RPGs that I've been playing over the past few years. It was entirely new compared to those games. In short, if you have Xbox Game Pass, I would say definitely to try this game out. It offers an interesting story and characters with a beautiful world to get lost in. It is also extremely refreshing compared to other AAA titles that have been releasing out of these RPG developers over the past few years. But if you plan on buying the game, I would either wait for a sale or patches. I feel like the game is worth full price once these bugs and once these performance issues are patched out, especially if the DLC expansions also release. GSC Gameworld has been through literal fucking hell, with them being a Ukraine-based developer, and of course under the invasion from Russia. I would give them leniency for that, and that, say, they didn't even have to release this game, but they also did release the game, and I can't base my score in the end based on how bad I feel for the developers. They have my endless respect, though, for what they accomplished here, even under the circumstances they were in. They 100% did not have to release this game, but I'm super happy they did, because I had a fantastic experience with it. That is why, even though I understand their circumstances, they still did release the game in this state, in a buggy and in an unpolished state. I would give Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl a 7 out of 10. It is a good game. I could even argue a great game once, again, these patches are ironed out and they release more content for the player to actually experience. The game is meaty. There's a lot of stuff to do here, but a lot of it isn't polished enough to where I could say this could be a great, fantastic, or 10 out of 10 banger video game. If you have Xbox Game Pass, definitely give it a try. If you want to go that step further to support the developers even more by directly buying the game, definitely do that. I am excited to see the future of this game and its content DLC expansions, and that is why I'm giving it a 7 out of 10 though. It can become an 8, it can become a 9, it could become a 10. Even with modding support coming from the community and how the consoles are also going to be receiving mod support as well, the future of this game is looking bright. I wish GSC Gameworld all of the success in their future releases and for the future of Stalker 2. They deserve all of the praise coming out of this game. They also deserve the criticism as well. They made a good game here. I respect them for even releasing this title. Thank you all for watching this video. If you did enjoy and want to see more video game reviews like this one, consider leaving a like, sharing, commenting, and subscribing if you so choose to. Thank you all for watching this video once again, and I'll see you guys in the next video.